Like most families, dessert is the one thing that we all crave for. It's that perfect ending to a meal. The sweetness perfectly balanced, bringing out great flavors, and it's that final end of contention that you require to close a meal. My Torta Caprese is a dense, gluten-free chocolate cake that lives up to all these notes on point. Varied it in various styles, either have it hot with some vanilla ice or some decadent chocolate syrup. You have a perfect ending to any meal. Or like me, just go right ahead and have it as a midnight snack while chilling with some Netflix. Let's get to creating it. While the prep time for this gorgeous cake is just about 20 minutes, it's the perfect time to preheat your oven to 160 degrees Celsius. After lunch and you have some time to kill, this cake gets done in that quick a time. So into a bowl I've got about 200 grams of some sugar, and into that I'm going to add about 250 grams of some melted butter. I like using salted butter just to balance out the sweetness that the chocolate brings. So mix the two together, allow it to emulsify with each other for about a minute to a minute and a half. You want to infuse this with some flavor. So here I've got the rind of one orange just going in, and it just balances out, giving it its sharp essential oils right into the butter. So allow this to emulsify along with about a cap to a cap and a half of vanilla essence. You can use vanilla essence, or if you want to go off the beaten track, just go right ahead and use some almond essence as well. Put that in, just allow everything to mix and emulsify with each other. As your butter has cooled down perfectly well, you start by dropping one yolk in at a time. So just put in a yolk and emulsify it really well. So like this, you put in 6 egg yolks, and we've reserved the white to whip up later. Into this goes in 250 grams of melted dark bitter chocolate. Just allow all the flavors to incorporate well and emulsify into this mix. As it's chocolate, you never ever waste anything, so scrape everything out of your bowl and put it right in. I like using dark chocolate because the orange rind along with the dark chocolate just gives it that bittersweet flavor that's required in this dense cake. So as you take on every bit of the chocolate, I've left a little to enjoy at the end. Mix the whole thing well, and into this now you add about 250 grams of almond meal flour. Either you take some almonds, blanch them, toast them lightly and powder them, or just use a store-bought variant of the same. So 250 grams of almond meal flour going in, and just allow everything to mix in well together. With everything mixed, I'm going old school with some dark rum, but you can use a liqueur like a crème de cassis or the crème de mint just to flavor it. So about 1/3 cup of some dark rum going into this just to give it that edge and depth. With this entire mix ready and the rum and the orange just wafting through your kitchen and infusing it, you leave it on a side, and now comes a little bit of muscle power. So while we use the 6 egg yolks into that, we use the 6 egg whites to create that stiffness of foams in a meringue. A slight sprinkle of some iodized salt on top, and let's get to whisking it. Whisking egg whites requires that little work that goes into creating this decadent dessert, but at the same time, it's really worth when you enjoy it. So go right ahead and create one of those stiffest of foams. I enjoy whisking in this very, very professional, new school way where you do not lift your whisk but just run it from end to end. It gives you some kind of balance and it's very easy when you have to move to the next hand. If you do not want to do something like this old school, just use a hand blender and whisk it as well. Whisking these egg whites to the soft peak stage is when you get these glorious peaks coming up and you know your egg whites have whisked really well. So whisk this and now it's time to fold. Since you're not using a baking powder as a leavening agent out here, egg whites serve that purpose. We're just going to divide the mix into two parts and fold it into this decadently almond flour and chocolatey goodness of a cake. Fold this so that it incorporates well and slightly elevates and lightens out this decadent spread. So give it light folds so that the egg white gets incorporated well into it. And now we're going to add the next part of the egg whites. So just put the entire batch in. Every last bit of this goodness going in and whatever's left on the whisk. Tend not to bang the whisk down, otherwise it will release some of the air that is trapped within. So fold this all in now. Just make sure not too much of the air that is trapped in escapes. So give it light folds but very firm, assertive strokes. Everything well incorporated in and it's decadently elevated. This goes into an 8-inch spring foam mold which has been lined with parchment paper on the bottom and the side just so that it's easy to release off the cake when baked. Every last bit of this going into this cake mold ready to be baked. Into a preheated oven, this goes at 160 degrees Celsius for about 45 minutes till it's just about done and ready to be enjoyed. While 45 minutes, this cake has risen and it's perfect. Allow it to sit for about 10 to 15 minutes till it settles and allow it to cool then and demold. This perfectly risen and elevated cake just needs to cool down, come down to room temperature. All it needs is a fine sprinkle of some icing sugar or confectioners sugar on top. Cut a wedge and enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed creating yet another simple, rich and elegant cake to enjoy either for tea or as a midnight snack, as I had said earlier. Pair this either warm with some vanilla ice or just some decadently rich chocolate truffle on top. Don't forget to share loads of love by hitting on the like button and as always, don't forget to subscribe.